Chapter 1. What does Universal Basic Income, UBI, mean? What if we told you that every adult citizen would get a fixed amount without doing anything, with no conditions applied at all? That's right, no eligibility requirements, no complicated paperwork. It's just money in your pocket, plain and simple. It sounds too good to be true. But this is the actual idea of Sir Thomas More, an English philosopher behind Universal Basic Income, UBI. To boil it down for you, it's meant for everyone, regardless of their income level, and thus is called universal. Whether you are a millionaire or barely scraping by, you get it in your account every month, unmistakably. The main idea behind this exciting model is to cover the basics, like food, clean water, and shelter, and ultimately eliminate poverty. So, think of it as a financial safety net, ensuring no one falls through the cracks. But. The idea of universal basic income is not new, it dates back to the 18th century. Thomas Paine, a prominent figure during the American Revolution, proposed the idea of a citizen's dividend. He believed that since society benefits from collective resources, every citizen should receive a share of the wealth produced by those resources. This idea resonates with the core concept of UBI we talk about today, getting a monthly allowance from the government. Chapter 2, The Man Behind UBI. While it's gotten a lot of attention recently, the concept isn't exactly new. In fact, it's been around since the 1500s. But who was the brain behind this idea? Sir Thomas More, an English philosopher. He's often credited as the first advocate for UBI. He wrote about it in his book, Utopia, quoting, "Instead of inflicting these horrible punishments, it would be far more to the point to provide everyone with some means of livelihood, so that nobody's under the frightful necessity of becoming first a thief and then a corpse." More believed that instead of harsh punishments, society should provide everyone with a means of livelihood, preventing people from turning to crime out of desperation. As time passed, other thinkers like Johannes Ludovicus Vives and Thomas Paine also pitched in with the idea that governments should ensure a basic income for their citizens. By the 1900s, politicians worldwide had started considering experiments with UBI. In addition to historical figures, UBI has sparked contemporary experiments. Stockton, California, a city known for its diversity, took a bold step in 2019 by launching a pilot program. This particular program provided 125 residents with $500 a month, no strings attached to it again. The program aimed to test whether a basic income could alleviate financial stress and empower individuals to pursue their goals. But not many experiments have actually been put into action, at least not on a large scale. Chapter 3, Motive of UBI. Coming to the motive part, it's about taking care of our fellow citizens. UBI aims to provide a financial cushion to meet basic needs. When people have their essentials covered, it reduces poverty and, interestingly, improves physical and mental health. Fewer worries about putting food on the table mean fewer stress-related illnesses. Everyone gets something, if not all. There is one more intriguing perspective to the model: UBI could boost job growth and lower school dropout rates. With financial security, folks might be more inclined to take risks, like starting a business or pursuing higher education. So far, we have realized that UBI stretches beyond financial support. It's about granting individuals the freedom to explore their passions and make life-changing decisions. It's like a meaningful resource that can help you set up a business or help you save more by becoming another source of income for a few and a source of livelihood for others. Indeed, UBI could act as a safety net that encourages risk-taking and innovation. Chapter 4, UBI and its history. Despite being around for centuries, UBI has rarely gotten any shape to date. Like the one in Dauphin, Manitoba, in the 1970s, which was more akin to a negative income tax, most experiments have been on a small scale. However, since 2016, a charity by the name of Give Directly has been transferring money directly to Kenyan households. The majority of the discussions are somehow theoretical because economists typically lack access to sufficient real-world data for analysis. Yet, the results showed promising effects on education, health, and overall well-being. Chapter 5, Recent Observations Related to UBI. Fast forward to today, and UBI is gaining traction. But it's not all smooth sailing. The debate rages on, with some advocating its potential benefits, while others raise concerns. Advocates argue that UBI could reduce poverty, empower unpaid work, and even combat extreme wealth inequality. Some say it could be a solution to a future where automation threatens traditional jobs. Finland, for instance, conducted a 2-year pilot program from 2017 to 2019. Unemployed citizens were given a monthly stipend, and the results were illuminating. While the program didn't lead to a significant increase in employment, it did positively impact participants' well-being, reducing stress and anxiety. On the flip side, critics worry that UBI might worsen wealth inequality, replace targeted support for the needy, and, let's face it, be expensive. Others raise the alarm about inflation, as more money in people's pockets could drive up prices. It will become a constant fear that UBI might discourage people from working, leading to labor shortages. Research by the Roosevelt Institute suggests a different perspective. According to their study, UBI could stimulate the economy. When people have a basic income, they're more likely to spend, thereby creating demand for goods and services. This increased demand could lead to job creation, counteracting the fear of a labor shortage. However, our point of view says that the cost of implementing UBI on a national scale could be staggering. Chapter 7, Concluding Thoughts. As we conclude, it is critical to understand that there is not a single, effective UBI strategy. For instance, Alaska's implementation of UBI shows how flexible the idea is. Ever since the 1980s, Alaskans have gotten a yearly dividend from the state's oil profits. A valuable lesson can be learned from this localized UBI model. Solutions can be developed to address particular problems and the particular requirements of various communities. However, we feel it's too early to have a final word on UBI until and unless we discover the possible challenges and pitfalls. And all this while, don't forget to share your love with us. Hit that bell button and stay in the know about the unknown with us.